for girls, all girls must live on campus. Boys will be boys. They will get their clothes wherever they can. Because of the heat, we are near the desert, so it's very hot. You can hang something out, let's say at 10 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock, it's dry. So you don't have to be able to worry about washing machines and dryers. This is a girls' dormitory. The greenery is simply beautiful. It's a kind of plant that grows year-round and it blooms year-round. And it's simply beautiful. Even during the long spans when we have no rain, it's still green. This is the upper level of that hostel. That's the lower level of it. Now, the university is really growing by leaps and bounds. We are in the old campus, and now they are building a new campus where they're having the veterinary medicine, all the sciences, etc. That's a new building going up there, and of course that shows us there that it's veterinary medicine is going up. You see the artwork beside this building, that's very unusual in Muslim territory. But that's going into the classroom area on the new campus. Here you have engineering, you have law, lovely buildings. You notice they don't have grass because they don't have water to keep it green, so they always cut the grass out of the yard. You have sand. Everybody has sand. Except if you go to the Vice Chancellor's compound at the university, he has grass. And he has grass year-round. And it's really amazing. This is where I work. This is the Department of Library Science. It's right behind the library. The buildings are designed to accommodate the hot weather that we have. And they're just one floor deep, so you have ventilation going all the way across. Big glass windows in the back. Some of the offices upstairs, the classroom downstairs. Some of the offices have air conditioning. I happen to have air conditioning. Some of them don't, so we get a lot of visitors. There I am in my office. I always kept my mementos on my bulletin board so I wouldn't get homesick. Dr. Jehoder and Mrs. Jehoder were on the bulletin board for about a month. Then I finally sent that to one of his prize students, Steve Dewani. He was so glad to get that picture. These are my advisees. Part 4 students have to do a piece of research. They really do a fine piece of research. The way the girl is dressed, that's the way they dress every day. She has on a long dress. Except she has on a wrapper. I have one, but I didn't wear it because I didn't know that it was going to fall off or not. I'm not really good at holding them up. And it's interesting, the fellow who's standing behind there is a Muslim. And he usually dresses as the fellow who is sitting down. That's a Muslim dress. That's the people in the north, most of the men dress like that. That's the first time I'd seen him in a suit. He knew he was going to take a picture. And the fellow who is sitting is a Christian. Christians don't usually dress like that. And it's very important to note whether you're a Christian or whether you're a Muslim. They can usually tell. This is the library. Beautiful building. It holds about 1/10 of the student population. It's always crowded. They don't have many current materials. In fact, I would say they don't have any current materials. And that's one of the big problems there. English is the national language, so everything is taught in English. But when they're outside the classroom, they speak Hausa. I took a class in Hausa. That's all I did. Inside the library, you can see that it has that Muslim influence. There's nothing beautiful about this building inside. Gorgeous structure outside, but inside is just the walls, the lights, and whatever. I went to the library at the University of Ibadan, and they have the most beautiful library, inside and out. You can just tell it's so different, as it is not in the same country. My colleagues, all of them are young men. They are highly educated. This young man got an invitation to present a paper at a library conference in Finland. So they, of course, the university didn't have the money to send him, so he had to write a proposal to some business to send him, and he was able to go. They are very enterprising people. This is a northerner. It's important to note that you're a northerner. He's the only northerner on our faculty, so they felt that they were really grooming him to become the head of the department. So everybody was sitting watching to see what the head of the department was going to do when he gets his PhD, this guy right here. This is a young man who got his PhD from the University of Michigan in information science, very enterprising. They're very dedicated teachers. In our department, we had one Asian. He had his degree from the University of Illinois. So well, such an excellent person, delightful person to know. Typical classroom. This happened to have been a very good class. They weren't so good in color because they didn't have a good background. But basically, they were highly intelligent, very hard working, certainly really to learn. Okay, that's the end. Any questions?
Let me ask one to get things started. You mentioned that the government may assign a student to a particular area, even though that may not have been his or her first choice. What is the pecking order? Which is the most highly prestigious field, and where does libraries assign stand in this relationship?
Well, the most prestigious field would be law and medicine. Everybody wants to go into law and medicine. Everybody wants to go to the University of Ibadan, ABU Zaria, University of Lagos. Okay? So they're going to get plenty of applications. Now, library science at the University of Ibadan is well respected because it's the oldest school. In fact, everything there is highly respected. Some people say that they're really living off our laws right now. The library science, it's kind of about like it is here.
You mentioned materials. Is there a problem that may be typical of a lot of developing countries as far as importation? Or do they sit on the docks? Is it transportation? Or is it just a monetary problem?
It's pretty much, they don't have a foreign exchange. Most foreign, they have to get their books from foreign countries. Most foreign exchange, foreign countries require that they pay in their currency. Right. They don't have the currency in that foreign exchange. So we haven't done that much exporting to get the foreign exchange. So that's really the problem. But they do have some fund, but when they order materials, I understand it usually takes them, it can take as much as 3 years for an order to be received. Well, you just think how long it takes to mail just a letter to get there.
Did they do anything like we do as far as networking at all, interlibrary loan, any kind of cooperative programs?
Yeah, they have interlibrary loan. They don't do it by mail because they don't really trust that postal service. They do it by courier. So they do that. And it's also interesting to note they talk about automation, but they don't really have it. At the University of Maiduguri, in the medical school, they have midline online searching. Yeah. Yes?
Do the religions follow along tribal lines, or is that, you might have a member of one tribe who is Christian and another a Muslim?
I don't think it really falls along tribal lines. It's probably regional. Because within a region, basically they say the country's kind of like divided into 3 regions. You have the east and you have the west and you have the north. But when we're in the north, we talk about us and the rest of them. The rest of them is south. Okay. So in the south, you have a mixture. You have a large Muslim population and a Christian population. In the north, more of the people are going to be Muslim, but you have Christian population, and some of them are born and reared right there in the north.